coached, they're too experienced to come out and just get blown out. And I told our guys, and they knew it. You know, it's just a team like that's tough because you can try to simulate it in practice as much as you want, but at the end of the day, they work on it every day. So, you know, I thought the best part to me was I thought even though our offense wasn't obviously working in the first half, we didn't let it affect our defense. You know, we held them to 37%. They were 5 for 24 from 3 for the game. You know, obviously they started scoring around the rim a little bit more than they do. But I told our guys before the game, I said, look, we have to defend the three-point line. I said, you got to try to make this team beat you by making 2-point shots, and they couldn't do it. But, you know, I would not be shocked if that team wins a national championship in Division II. I mean, they are that talented, they're that well coached, and they just play together. But, you know, it was a good experience for us. You know, had a little adversity. Good for me, good for our players. But, you know, we're happy that we came out on top, and now we got to get ready for Sunday because it starts to count. So, you know, take a day off tomorrow and get ready on Thursday.
David, did you see any theme in the turnovers, especially a couple of the unforced early on?
Yeah, we were just being careless with the ball. You know, we knew scouting report-wise, they're a heavy dig team, and what I mean by that is when you take a dribble towards the rim, they're going to have somebody converge on the ball and slap down, and we just didn't pay enough attention to it. You know, we knew we had to get to the corners. The problem was the guy with the ball wasn't being strong enough, got it slapped out of his hands, and we just, you know, you have to make the pass a little bit earlier. But, you know, that's where this team has really improved. Bellarmine, I mean, defensively. I mean, you know, they forced us into 20 turnovers. Some of them were careless by us, but, you know, at the end of the day, we didn't let our offense affect our defense for the most part, which was good to see.
It seemed like the team was rushing a lot early offensively, kind of forcing some passes. What does it take to kind of get those guys to kind of slow down, take a bit more time, you know, to set things up offensively?
Well, you know, a team like this they work so hard to protect the paint that when you're a big dribble penetration team like we are, and all of a sudden that's taken away, it's a little bit of an adjustment. You know, last week we were able to get in the paint a little bit more and kick out, but you know, you got to give them credit. A lot of it was us, you know, just being careless, but a lot of it was them, you know, defensively. They were locked in on what they needed to do. But, you know, we made the adjustment in the second half. We didn't give up. I mean, Q got in the lane a couple times. Dang got in the lane a couple times and made the right pass, and, you know, it worked out for us.
Dave, you played Q 37 minutes tonight. Is that something that you want to try to maybe bring down a little bit as you get through the season?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, you know, we were in a little bit of a tough spot because obviously Ryan's out. Joe Griffin sprained his ankle in pretty good practice the other day, so we didn't have him. And, you know, Darius just had been practicing a lot at the 2 spot, and he'd been practicing well. So he and Q were in there together a lot. But, you know, obviously we don't want Q playing 37 minutes right out of the gate. But at the same time, you know, it was important that we had him on the floor. I mean, you know, he's the one guy that, you know, 6 assists, 2 turnovers, doesn't turn the ball over. So even though he didn't have a great shooting night, he didn't let it affect the rest of his game.
Jordan Nora picked up 8 rebounds off the bench. What are the biggest things you're looking for the young guys off the bench to come and contribute to the team so far?
You know, I told him after the game, I thought Jordan and Darius both gave us very good minutes tonight. And that's because they practiced well since the game last week. You know, every day in practice, their mindset was really good. They were locked in on what we were trying to do. And, you know, Jordan, he listened. I told him, as I think I mentioned last week, you got to do more than just try to shoot the ball. And he took that to heart. I mean, he was working on his defense this week in practice, and you see he has 8 rebounds, which is huge. You know, and we need our guards to rebound, and for him to come in and in 15 minutes and get 8 rebounds is huge.
David, before the second half started, you pulled BJ King aside. What did you tell him? Because he really came out very aggressive in that second half.
You know, I just told him, I said, stay with it. You know, he had a couple open threes. He made his first one of the game, but then it seemed like he couldn't really, I think he made 2 for the game, but he missed a couple wide open ones. I just, you know, confidence is a big thing with BJ. I just don't want him to get down on himself. I said, you just got to play through it. You know, just try to impact the game in other areas. I mean, you know, he struggled a little bit, but a lot of that too was what they were trying to do. I mean, BJ is very good at getting in the lane, and they took that away. But you know, it's just it's going to be like that some nights for some guys. But that's where, you know, we're fortunate to have a guy like Jordan just come in and get 8 rebounds. So you know, it's good to have options to put in.
How would you describe your team's readiness with the season starting right around the corner?
You know, I think we're in a good spot. Obviously, we got a lot to work on, as I'm sure all other 350 teams in Division I will say right now as well. You know, what I was pleased with was defensively, we didn't play well in stretches last week. You know, and I thought we came out today in the first half, we held them to 37%, 23 from the 3-point line, and they focused in on that. And like I said, just not letting our offense affect our defense. I mean, we were turning the ball over, we were missing shots, we were doing kind of uncharacteristic things with the ball in the first half offensively, but we locked in on defense, and you know, we held them to 23 points. But you know, a team like that is just, it's tough to prepare for, but it's also a good prep for Sunday because George Mason plays a little bit of a similar type system.
Coach had a chance to coach with you, David, and now, what did he get to say to you before the game? Did he give you anything in particular?
No, I mean, he and I have known each other for 13 years now. Obviously, I have a great relationship with him and his son. I just told him after the game, I said, look, you got a heck of a basketball team. I mean, and he knows that. When you have 11 players back from a 30-plus win season, you know that. But they're going to make some noise this year. I'd be really surprised if they don't. It's a tough style to play against. I mean, you do whatever you want to prepare for it, but you can't simulate it in practice. It's tough to be ready.
Was that your plan to go kind of small when you did go to the bench? Is that why Malik Williams didn't get much run tonight?
I just thought Dwayne Sutton, Jordan, and Darius had great days of practice leading up to this game. They seemed to understand it. They were locked in defensively, and a team like this, you're going to have to go small at times just because there's so much perimeter defending. But like I told them after the game, I'm just going to go with the guys who give me trust in practice, and I thought those three guys did that the most, and that's why they played.
You seem to have a message for Anas there during the first half play, wanting to see a little bit more out of him. What was your message to him there?
I just told him we were just doing careless things. They were front in the post. I said, if whoever the guy in the post is, just turn and seal him. The other guy, Flash, will be a wide open for a high-low. Ray turned and sealed him. Anas caught it, and then you just threw a careless pass out of bounds. I mean, it's just little things like that are just uncharacteristic of our experienced guys. But, Anas, even though, he had 9 points, but he had 11 rebounds, 6 offensive, which was great to see. And, they adjusted. You got to give them credit. They adjusted well because we told them every time they drive the ball, they're going to look to pass. Well, in the second half, they knew that we were staying at home and not helping, so they started to score. And Anas started to protect the rim a little bit better. But, he's got to be more assertive. And if he can, and I mean that from a defensive and a rebounding standpoint, but he responded and had 11 rebounds tonight.
Anything else for David?
Thank you, guys.
Great, thank you.